Hello, beautiful one. So I live in a space on our planet where right now we are in spring, and I'm sitting here in my car having my breakfast, preparing to take a moment to connect in with you guys here. And I'm looking around and I'm noticing all of the trees are getting their leaves. They've been so barren for so many months, and just, it's a whole different look when you look around and you see through everything. You can see all of the buildings and all of the, just everything, because the trees lose their leaves, and so there's no buffer, right? And I started thinking about how trees work, right? And how they lose their leaves when we go into fall, and the leaves have served their purpose all year through the space of that was very warm or hot in many cases, and the leaves were needed for shade for them, for animals. And I know there's the whole process of the way that the leaf interacts with the sun, and we get the interaction with the tree and us having oxygen to breathe. Trees are so amazing. But they lose their leaves in the fall, and there's just so much connected. And I was thinking about how they get their leaves back, new leaves, when they're entering into that space again where they will need those leaves, and how those new leaves are more vibrant and they're fresh and strong. And I was thinking about humans and how we go through cycles like this as well, where we have spaces that we realize, or that it's just kind of brought into our knowing, whether we've looked for it or not, that there are leaves we need to drop. There are leaves that just are no longer serving our being, and it's time for them to go. It's time for them to fall away. And then we go through a space where we may be in between, having a new leaf, understanding that new part of ourself, and having lost that old leaf, shed that old space. And then we begin to get our understanding more of where we're at in that new space, and we get a bud, we get a little baby leaf, a little new idea, understanding, perception, belief, program coming in to our being. And as we nurture it, look at it, connect with it, expand ourselves, the leaf grows. Yes, the understanding grows, the perception grows, and serves its purpose in our now experience. And then as time goes by, that leaf may be ready to be shed as well for an even fresher, I don't think that's a word, more fresh, understanding to come forth for us. So I feel like that's a really cool way we could look at it, just to allow ourselves to kind of, sit with what's happening in our beings. There is a shed or release of old space. There is a space where we get new understanding, new beliefs, new connections. Sometimes those leaves can be new jobs, they can be new relationships, they can be honestly, I think we can tend to look like a totally new tree in time. I realize that with a lot of people that I don't see a lot, like family that live far away. And so then when you do see them, or they see you, everyone expects that you are and they are the same as they were the last time you saw them. And that's okay. That's just a program that we're used to running from, our understanding, running from in just spaces we've been for a very long time. But these spaces now that we are able to be in, and many of us are in, these spaces are ever expanding and so much more rapidly, to where when you say, someone says, how do you feel about this? What is your opinion on this? We'll preface it by saying, well, in this space, I currently feel this way. Because you may be in a totally different space and a different understanding tomorrow. It's fascinating and exciting. And it's uplifting if you think about it, because for anyone who doesn't necessarily love the space they're in right now, those leaves can fall. You can let those leaves go. They no longer serve. You're not in alignment. You don't want those leaves anymore. Let them fall. Give yourself some time to adjust, to gain deeper understanding of the leaves that would best serve you, and then let them bloom. Let them grow, nurture them, love them, feed them. And how do you do that? By what you focus on. By what you focus on. You choose to drop the leaves by no longer giving them any of your energy, by allowing them to go in love and peace. Thank you for the wisdom you brought me. Thank you for the understanding you brought me, but you may go. And then you take that focus that used to feed them and you put it on something that you do want to align yourself with. And you feed that space your focus, not from want, not I want this, but from admiring it in a sense of being in it. What does that space feel like? So if you wanted to release past pain, stop feeding it, stop looking at it, stop talking about it, stop finding a reason to sit in it, connect into it, and find yourself an energy outlet. Whatever works for you, but something you can take your mind off of that space and start placing your mind, which is your focus, which is your power, on something else that is of a better alignment for you. You allow validation and healing and love. I accept that space occurred. I see that space for what it was and is. And I now offer you love and healing, forgiveness. Lift it, enlighten it, bless it. If you need assistance, I work with Christ, and that is a very powerful space for me to receive assistance in the spaces that I can't lift myself, or I don't feel I can lift myself yet, because that changes as you change. And then after you give that validation and healing and understanding and love and forgiveness to that space, doesn't mean you condone what happened in the space. In a sense, you're forgiving the energies that knew not what they did. They were in a consciousness that was unable to understand their density. So you offer that forgiveness and love and release it from your being. And then you shift your focus. Stop going back there. If you're offering healing and forgiveness and enlightenment and love, stop going back there. There's nothing to go back there to, unless you want to bring it back to life and resuscitate it. Focus on a blessing. There's some blessing, even if the blessing is that you found this video and there's a person on the planet that legitimately cares about you and truly loves you and wants you to have the best life now, even if that's what you focus on. Finding a blessing in a space that before you may not have been able to find a blessing, that will shift everything. It's the beginning. It's all energy, and we get stuck in spaces that are denser, and we stare at them and feed them without knowing it. It's not being done to you. It's being done in alignment with you, and there's no judgment on that. Now is the moment of awareness. Now is the moment of liberation and freedom, by simply taking one moment to say, I will stop saying how horrible this is. I will stop looking at it and feeding the horribleness, and I will come from love and say that I choose to release this and align higher. I choose to love this space of myself, not what happened and was done, but myself that navigated this. I love myself. Thank you for getting me through that space so many times. I deal with this with clients all the time. Clients hate a space of themselves because they hate what they walked through. And that self version that walked through it, that you, that walked through that space deserves to hear thank you, deserves to hear your gratitude and receive your love for getting you through that space. Many times we shy away from that part of our life, from that part of ourself. Many times we shame it. We don't want to look at that part of ourself. We don't want to see that part of ourself. We don't want to talk to that part of ourself. And that part of ourself gets left in the cold when it navigated one of the most difficult spaces in our lives. There is so much power. This is what I do with clients. There is so much power in taking your being back to those spaces and offering your being love. And you may need assistance and guidance. And there are many people on this planet that offer professional assistance to assist. So please take all of this into consideration. But you are capable, if you feel it in your being that you're safe and you feel like you could do that. Many people can do this on their own. Some people don't have to go back to these spaces. Once they know this concept, they can just intend it with their being to send love to their whole being. And oh my God, you're right. I should love that part of myself. Why am I shunning and shaming that part of myself when that part of myself navigated some of the most densest spaces in my existence in this now? Oh yes, I'm going to send love to that part of myself. Oh yes, I'm going to view that part of myself with respect and honor. And just that can shift your whole life. I do this with people all the time. This is what I do. It's part of what I do. Some people do not have to go back, and they can just get the understanding, and it floods through their being. And then some people, they just really feel like they need to see that part of themselves, you know, and you can envision it. You can ask your team to help you go back and find the spaces that need your love. And then when you get there, you're not the version of you who was harmed or hurt. You're the higher version of you going back. You're the light version of you going back. You remember that, because some people go back and they get really caught up in the emotion, and they can't be of any help to that version of themselves that they're going back to help, because they're falling apart themselves. That's not why you're going back to do this work. If you're going back to do this work, you're coming in as the angel of light. You're coming in as your highest version. And it's time, if you're doing that and you're ready, and again, there's no judgment. There's no judgment. Everybody's different. But in the work that I do, what happens with the Acasma Quantum Energy is it lifts the space to a new level of vibration. The client is able to come in, and you can do this, you can do this. And many of you do not need me to do this with you. I want to give you the tool. I want to give you the understanding. When you go back, and you go back as you are your higher self, think about it. This version of you is not the version of you that happened to. You are different. Your consciousness is more expanded now. You know things you didn't know then. For one, you know you survived. For one, you know that you are creating a better tomorrow, a better today, a better now. So when you go back to help that past version of yourself and heal that space, you are the higher light. You are the higher light, the higher self coming in. So you don't get caught up in it emotionally. You acknowledge it. Yes, you respect it. Yes, you respect you. And it can be emotional, but it's not a fall apart emotional. It's like when I get emotional, it's coming from an immense sense of love and knowing that this can happen, this healing is real, right? So you go in and you offer that love and understanding. You pause the memory, you pause the situation, the experience. You go over to the younger self and you look yourself in the eyes, whether you're 6 years old or 16 or 22, whatever it is. Sometimes it can be multiple spaces that people go to. And maybe you do it over time. 1 week, one space, 1 week, another space. And some people do a young space and it ripples forward and they don't have to do any of the others. It's all energy. It's all energy. I call these walkbacks because you're going back into a space of your now lifeline and you are being your higher self, your higher light in that space, bringing love, compassion, understanding, healing, wisdom, and most of all, gratitude and love. Those are the biggest things. Your being that was in those spaces deserves to be acknowledged as incredibly powerful for walking you through them, not shamed, loved. You deserve that. They deserve that. That part of you deserves that. And so when you go back in and you pause it and you look them in the eye and you give them that love and gratitude and you tell them it's going to be okay and you tell them what you needed to hear in that moment. What did you need to hear in that moment? Did you need someone to tell you, you don't deserve this? It's going to be okay, but you don't deserve this. This is not right, but I'm right here, and I love you, and I'm not leaving you here anymore. I'm coming here to save this space for us, and I love you for getting me through it. Oh my God, I love you for getting me through it. Thank you. And you give them love, and you give them that validation and that gratitude. And then you tell them they're never going to be left alone again, that they're always with you, completely with you. Because it's big work. It's really big work. And like I said, some people do not need to go back. They can hold the concept in their being and send the love, and it's pretty fast and instantaneous in a way. And then some people, they really need to find those spaces. Everybody's different. Everybody's different. But I wanted to leave this here for you because many of you have written back on other videos that I've done and said that you've been running cycles your whole life, and you've been repeating cycles your whole life, and that you really, really, really want to heal those spaces and expand into a higher space of your being, right? Dropping those densities and healing them. So this is the information I felt to share with you on this. If you have any questions, any comments, any feedback, please leave them. Again, in the session work that I do related to this, there is energy work. There always is energy work. Again, if you have questions, comments, feedback, just let me know. And if you like this video, please hit the thumbs up sign. Share it if you know anyone who would benefit from it. Leave a comment, subscribe. Hit the bell if you want to get notifications of my videos. All of this helps my videos get into the feed more of others. I'm so grateful to walk with you and honored that you would feel to connect with me. I see your highest light and you are incredibly beautiful. I see your now light and I am absolutely honored. I love you. Thank you for embracing your light. Thank you for embracing your now. And thank you for being you. I love you.